Kansas is bleeding tonight. This is the Midwest Farmstead Defense Network, broadcasting on all remaining frequencies. I'm your community coordinator, speaking to you from a reinforced silo west of Salina. The sun's been down for 3 hours, and the things outside, they're not resting. They're gathering, like coyotes scenting wounded prey. If you're holed up in a barn, a cellar, or a shotgun farmhouse with boarded windows, listen close. We are under code red. This isn't a drill. This is extinction knocking. The plains aren't silent anymore. Forget the crickets, the wind, and the wheat. Those sounds died weeks ago. Now it's guttural moans carrying for miles, the crunch of bones under rotting feet, and the static hiss of dead airwaves. They call them shamblers out east. Polite. We call them what they are. Rot walkers. Skin sloughing off like wet paper, eyes milky and hungry. They don't run. They don't tire. They just keep coming. And tonight, they're coming for us. We lost Junction City at dawn. Heard it over the crackling ham radio before it cut out. A family of 5 made their last stand in a grain elevator. Father rigged propane tanks to blow when the horde broke through. Took out 2 dozen. Didn't matter. More poured in like sewage through a broken pipe. His last words? Don't mourn. Load the goddamn rifles. That's where we are, people. Funeral pyres and fight back. Global news? Don't make me laugh. Last satellite feed showed Paris burning, Beijing silent, London a graveyard with teeth. Government collapsed faster than a rotten barn roof. But here, we're heartland stubborn. We dig in, we hold, or we die. Earlier today, a convoy from McPherson tried reaching our rally point. 8 trucks, armored with sheet metal and desperation. Only 3 made it. One driver's wife, she got dragged out when a rot walker punched through the passenger window. Glass shredded her cheek. Her husband watched in the rearview mirror as 5 of them tore her apart. He didn't stop. Couldn't. He delivered his cargo, ammo crates and diesel jugs, then put his revolver in his mouth. We buried him beside the fuel dump. No time for prayers. I've got a message here, scrawled on a blood-spotted map, from a scout watching Highway 81. Quote, horde moving northwest, 200 plus, maybe 300. They're gnawing on a dead horse. Saw one peel a man's ribcage open like a goddamn candy wrapper. Estimate contact in 2 hours. Send fire. We're sending fire. Molotovs and muzzle flashes. But we need every able body. If you're within 20 miles of Salina, grab your weapon and move. Now. Barns at Grid Delta 7 are fortified. We've got water, weld wire for barricades, and a few boxes of .308 that sting like hell. Remember the Thompson farm, west of Lindsborg? They held out for 9 days. Cut rot walkers down with a combine harvester rigged with saw blades. Worked until the blood and gunk jammed the gears. Last night, the thing's over random. We found the youngest son, maybe 12, barricaded in a root cellar. He'd stabbed 3 through a slit in the door with a pitchfork. Ran out of ammo. Ran out of time. His eyes. Hollowed out sockets. They'd eaten them first. The wind's shifting. Smell that? Rotten copper. It means they're close. I've got reports of movement in the sunflower fields east of here. Shadows lurching between the stalks. We're setting tripwires hooked to grenades. Lighting torches. Praying the gasoline holds out. Look at your hands. Are they shaking? Good. Means you're still human. Now make them useful. Load every magazine, sharpen every blade. And when they come, when you hear that moaning rattle that freezes your guts, you aim for the head. No mercy, no hesitation. Because they sure as hell won't hesitate when they rip your throat out. That smell, that awful reek of spoiled meat and open graves. It's thick enough to choke on now. rot walkers. They're pressing against the outer wire. We lit the ditches. Flames leapt 20 feet high, painting the sunflowers in hellish orange. You can see them in the flicker. Hundreds of them. Ragged clothes smoldering, skin bubbling like bad wax, jaws snapping at the heat. They don't scream. They just push. Relentless, like a slow-moving flood of teeth and decay. This is the Farmstead Network. We are engaged. God help us. The tripwire snapped first. Old fishing line strung taut between fence posts. Grenades tumbled into the packed ranks. The blasts weren't loud, more like wet thumps muffled by bodies. Limbs flew. Torsos ripped open, spilling black sludge and things I don't want to describe. Didn't stop them, just made gaps. They poured through the smoke, trampling their own shattered kin. That's the nightmare. No fear, no pain. Just hunger driving them forward, step after rotting step. We opened fire from the haylofts. Rifles cracked like angry whips. Every shot needs to count. Aim small, miss small means death. Saw Old Man Henderson take one down. Clean shot through the temple. The thing crumpled. Another stumbled over it, right onto the pointy stakes we buried yesterday. Sharpened rebar. Went through its chest like rotten plywood. It writhed, impaled, clawing at the air. Didn't die. Just stuck, gnashing its teeth at nothing. That's the horror. They don't die easy. You have to destroy the brain. Anything else is just wasting ammo. Got a runner just now. Face streaked with soot and someone else's blood. Young woman, maybe 19, from the Miller place south of here. Said they held the barn for a night. Used a chainsaw when the ammo ran low. Took off arms, heads, until the blade got stuck in his spine. Her brother, he tried to pull it free. A rot walker grabbed his ankle, dragged him screaming into the swarm outside the door. She heard the tearing sounds, the wet crunching. She ran. Said his screams didn't stop until they got to his lungs. She made it here. Brought nothing but the stink of death and a story that chills the bone. We're using the terrain. Sunflower fields are thick. Slows them down. Lets us pick targets. But it also hides them. You see stalks tremble, and a hand claws out. A face, half gone, lunges. We lost 2 good people that way. Pete, the mechanic, took a bite clean out of his forearm defending the North Trench. Fought like a devil, hammering its skull with a wrench until it stopped moving. But the wound, it festered in minutes. Green veins crawled up his arm. He knew. Grabbed the Molotov, ran screaming into the advancing line, took 5 with him in the fireball. Went out on his terms. Remember that. Sometimes the only choice is how you buy it. The barn complex is holding, barely. They breached the smaller storage shed. We heard the nails pinging. Someone rigged a nail gun trap. Didn't stop them, just made them angrier. They tore through the thin wood like it was paper. Found the family hiding inside. Parents shoved their 2 kids into an empty grain bin, slammed the lid, then faced it tied with shovels. Last we heard over the short-range radio was the mother screaming, "Stay quiet, babies, don't look." Then static, then the sound of splintering wood and feeding. We can see the smoke from here. They must have set the shed ablaze themselves. Took the fight to the grave. Those kids, we'll get them, if we survive the night. Vehicles. We've got 2 old pickups roaring out of the machine shed. Reinforced bumpers welded from plow blades. They're plowing into the flanks of the horde, like scythes through rotten wheat. Bodies crunch under the tires. Limbs snap. One truck's windshield is smeared black. The driver's just a silhouette, gritting his teeth, aiming for the thickest clusters. It's buying us time. Time to reload. Time to breathe. Time to see the next wave cresting the burning ditch further east. There's more. Always more. Word from the scouts monitoring the wider collapse is grim. Last garbled transmission from the East Coast mentioned military containment failing in Pittsburgh. Overrun. Moscow's gone dark. completely. Not a peep in 48 hours. We're islands, burning islands in a rising sea of the dead. The torches are guttering, fuel's running low. The gunfire is becoming sporadic. Exhaustion is a heavier weight than fear. We're down to pistols, shotguns, blades, and sheer Kansas grit. Saw a woman couldn't be more than 16 jam a screwdriver into a Rottwalker's ear canal when it grabbed her boot. Twisted it like a key. Dropped it cold. That's the spirit. Fight dirty. Fight mean. Fight for every inch of this poisoned earth. But the fields, they're thinning. Too many trampled stalks. Too many bodies creating bridges over the ditches. They're adapting. Pushing through the gaps our fire can't cover. The moaning, it's not just noise anymore. It's a physical pressure. A vibration in your teeth. They know they're winning. They sense the fatigue. The despair. And there's something else. Movement near the old irrigation well. Not shambling. Crawling. Low, fast shadows slipping through the tall grass on the edge of the firelight. Ignoring the main fight. Heading towards the silo basement vents. Oh hell, they're not all slow. Some are learning. Some are hunting smarter. If they get underground, into the tunnels, they'll be inside the wire. Inside us. Crawlers. They're in the vents. That sickening scrape of bone and rot against metal ductwork, it's under our feet. Inside our walls. Goddamn things learned. This is the Farmstead Network. We are breached. Defend the core. Now. Forget the fields. Fall back to the inner courtyard. Seal the blast doors. Move. Panic tried to take hold. Saw it in the eyes of the folks manning the haylofts as the shout went up. But Kansas dirt runs deep. We hardened. Jenkins, the welder, didn't hesitate. Slammed the reinforced steel door to the main silo corridor just as the first vent cover burst open behind him. A thing. Not human anymore. All broken limbs and gnashing teeth lunged out. Got Jenkins by the leg. Dragged him screaming back into the choking darkness of the vents before anyone could fire. His screams cut off by a sound like wet rope snapping. That's the price, paid in blood and terror. Sealed the door on his sacrifice, on him. The silence from that vent shaft is worse than the screams. The courtyard's chaos. Rottwalkers press through the gaps left by the crawler diversion. The burning ditches are just embers now. Fuel gone. They stumble over their own burning dead, flesh sizzling, but they don't stop. Never stop. We're firing from the catwalks, the silo roof, anywhere with high ground. Ammo's low, down to counting shots. Saw a man empty his last pistol round into a thing's face at point-blank range. It dropped. He drew a hunting knife, turned just as another grabbed his shoulder, sank the blade deep into its eye socket, twisted, pulled it free, dripping black just in time to meet the next one. That's us now. Steel and desperation. Remember the runner? The girl from the Miller place? She's up on the silo roof with me now, face like stone, eyes burning hotter than the dying fires below. She saw the crawlers tear into the generator shed near the vents, heard the men fighting inside, then the awful silence. She grabbed the pry bar and a satchel of pipe bombs we cobbled together. Didn't say a word, just looked at me. That look said it all. I owed them screaming. She's leading a volunteer team down into the sublevels right now to hunt the crawlers in their own dark. Global silence is absolute. Last flicker on the emergency satellite feed showed Chicago, just gone. A vast, dark smear where the city lights used to be. No signals. No hope riding in from outside. This silo, this patch of blood-soaked earth, is the last flicker. We hold it, or the light goes out forever. The courtyard's being overrun. They're piling up against the main silo doors. The heavy steel groans under the weight. Hundreds of rotting hands slapping, clawing. The sound, like a monstrous, hungry heartbeat. We're dropping Molotovs from above. Fire blooms on the seething mass. They burn like tallow candles, staggering, collapsing, adding fuel to the pyre. But more climb over. Always more. The stench of burning rot is choking. It coats your tongue, makes your eyes water. Word from below. The vent team. Short-range radio crackled. The girl's voice, tight with fury and pain. Generator slag. Crawlers ambushed us in the pump room. Took Harris. Ripped his throat out before he could prime the charge. I'm hit. Legs bad. But we rigged the bombs. On the main duct junction. Timer set. 90 seconds. Get clear upstairs. Blow it all to hell. Static. Then nothing. Just a relentless pounding on the doors. She bought us a chance. With her blood. With her life likely. We owe her the bang. The courtyard stairs are our last choke point. Narrow. Defensible. We're stacking sandbags, tipping over tool racks, anything to slow them when those doors give. Which they will. Soon. The groaning steel is screaming now. Hinges buckling. People are pale, sweating, clutching whatever weapon they have left. A farmer holds a sledgehammer, a teenager grips a fire axe, knuckles white. A woman loads her last 3 shells into a shotgun, her hands steady as stone. This is it. The final yard, the last stand before the grain. The doors explode inward, not a breach, a tidal wave. Rotwalkers flood into the stairwell base, a wall of decay and snapping teeth. We open fire. The confined space turns the gunfire deafening. Ears ring. Muzzle flashes light up terrified faces. Snarling dead mouse. Headshots drop them, but they fall forward, tripping the ones behind, creating a writhing mound of corpses that the next wave climbs. They're using their own dead as a ladder. Sledgehammers swing, crushing skulls like rotten pumpkins. The axe bites deep, cleaving through necks, getting stuck. The shotgun roars, blowing a path clear for a second before more fill it. It's close, too close. I feel fetid breath, see yellow teeth inches from my face as I kick one back, shove my pistol under its chin and pull the trigger. Brain matter sprays the wall behind it. Then the ground heaves. A deep, subterranean thump you feel in your bones more than hear. Dust showers from the ceiling. The lights flicker, die, then surge back on emergency power. Red emergency lights bathe the carnage in hell's own glow. The vent blast, the girl's bombs, the flood of rotwalkers stumbles. Many near the base collapse, internal systems shredded by the concussive force underground. The ones climbing the corpse pile falter. It's not victory, it's a gasp, a single ragged breath. We press the advantage, brutal, vicious. Knives find eye sockets, boots stomp down on twitching heads. We clear the stairwell base, shove the barricades back into the mangled doorway. The horde outside is stunned, milling, leaderless, without the crawler's vile intelligence. But they're still there. Thousands, pressing against the outer wire, the cooling embers, the shattered defenses, waiting, hungry. Dawn's coming. A sickly gray light bleeds across the eastern sky. It illuminates a landscape of nightmares, fields trampled flat, bodies piled like cordwood, smoke rising from a dozen pyres. The silo stands, scarred and battered, but standing. We're still here. Bruised, bleeding, down to our last bullets, our last drops of fuel, our last reserves of strength. but we held for this night. Casualty reports are grim. Jenkins gone. The vent team, no survivors confirmed. Half the defenders on the walls and in the courtyard didn't make it back inside. We lost good people, brave people. The cost is written in blood on the concrete floor. The girl from Miller, her name was Sarah, found her body near the shattered generator. Took down 3 crawlers with her before they got her. Pipe bomb remote still clutched in her hand. She earned her rest. We don't get rest. This isn't over. The horde is still out there. Thinned? Maybe. Broken? Never. They'll regroup. They'll come again. Other threats move in the wider dark. Things faster, smarter, born from the rot. Chicago's dark. The world is dark. But this signal, this stubborn Kansas frequency, is still broadcasting. We are the Farmstead Defense Network. We are the light in the dark. We held the line. Grab a weapon, tend your wounds, bury your dead fast and deep, then look east. The sun's rising on a broken world. It doesn't care about our pain. It just rises. So do we. Reload, rebuild the wire, sharpen the blades, pour the last gasoline, because they will come back, and we will meet them with fire, with lead, with the unbroken will of those who refuse to become prey. This is Code Red. We are still here. We fight at dawn. Carry the fire. Carry it hard.